$100,000 a year in New York alone. So what I'm saying is that if you're a 16-year-old boy and you're walking down the street in New York and you don't have 2 nickels to put together to buy yourself a sandwich, if a policeman grabs you, suddenly coins start flying out your ass and you're worth $352,000 to be incarcerated for 1 year. That is outrageous. It's your money that they're giving to these prison profiteers. Just the 2 top companies alone, CCA and Geo Group, have reported nearly $4 billion in profits just for their companies, and 90% of that is profit. Most of it is not overhead. Right here in South Carolina, the #1 industry in this state right here is the prison industry, with 7,000 people directly employed by the prison industrial complex right here in South Carolina. And in that courtroom they produce, it's like when you go into a courtroom, it's like looking at a processing center. And if you go into some of the places like the little town where I'm living at in Eastover, you'll see it filled with black people, full. In North Carolina, there's a county that has 274 black bodies in their prison system for every 1 white body. Now, how does that even make sense at all? We only are 13% of the population African Americans in this country, but we make up more than half of the prison population. How is that possible? It's like they're hunting us. You go to any African American community across America and you will see police sitting in their cars waiting to grab a hold of you. Why? Because here in South Carolina, it's $162,000 a year to incarcerate 1 young person. $162,000 to incarcerate somebody who may have got picked up for a joint or speeding or arguing with their parents. Does this make any sense to anybody here?
No. No.
It doesn't make any sense. The root cause of the police brutality, the root cause of the mass incarceration, the root cause of these processing plants they call courts is because there are prison profiteers who are financing this and want us to be in jail. It's really just that simple. You, as a homeless person in this city, and you know they made pretty much homelessness being is illegal in the city now. Yep. They look at you and they go, well, you're not worth a damn dime walking on the streets, but if I put you in that cell, you're going to be worth $50,000 to this county. We're going to make $50,000 on you just for having you in there for a year. This is the reason why they're doing it. Now, the cops have to enforce the law. We all understand that. They don't write the law, nor do they get the right to protest against the laws. They simply have to enforce them. And that's where our problem comes in with the police. They're right now pushing a bill forward that will make hoodies like the one I'm wearing right now illegal to wear. Now, when did fashion become a crime?
When you're black.
It's outrageous and it's ridiculous, and we have to stop modern day slavery. Now you might ask, how are they accomplishing this? It's totally illegal. As far as you know, slavery ended in 1865, right?
Psychologically.
Does anybody know how modern day slavery is continued in this country? The simplest way? Anybody?
The mind.
13th Amendment.
That's it right there. If you never read this, maybe you should. It's right here in your state, in your federal constitution. It says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or any territory subject to their jurisdiction. That's in your federal constitution right now, today. I've researched every constitution of every state across this country, and I found that at least 50% of them have this in their constitution, rewritten in one form or another. South Carolina never ratified the 13th Amendment. Never. What they did was ratify the 4th Reconstruction Act in lieu of the 13th Amendment. So this is how slavery is legal right now. This is no pretend thing or no joke. I'm not on a conspiracy theorist tip. This is in your constitution right now. You thought slavery was abolished, but it was not. 23.4 million people in one single year have went through our prison system and our jail systems. Just the jails alone were 13 million people. And somebody is making money on every single one of them. So they don't care why you go to jail. It doesn't matter to them as long as you're there, and no one is safe. Whether you're sitting up in Washington, D.C., as one of the attendants to the White House or a homeless man down the street, those two brothers right over there, 3 or 4 brothers over there, can snatch your ass up and make $162,000 right here in South Carolina. So I admire the fact that you guys are fighting against police brutality, and I admire the fact that you're standing up against mass incarceration. But get your focus right. If you solve this problem, all the rest are going to disappear. If you could simply make a move in each state to remove this from their constitutions, we could end slavery. If we remove this from the federal constitution, we could end slavery. But as far as I know, only one state in the entire United States Union has actually abolished slavery, and that was Rhode Island, the only state in the Union. No other state has abolished slavery. Now, they call it something else these days. They call it mass incarceration. They call it over-criminalization. They call it hyper-criminalization. They call it everything but what it is, which is what?
Slavery.
Now, in addition to storing your ass in a cell, they also work over 1 million people in this country for pennies on the dollar. I have personally seen commercial advertisements coming from the prison industry where they're asking international corporations to come and use their prison labor as a source of labor. And if you hire prisoners for 10 cents an hour, 11 cents an hour, a sandwich, or the right not to get raped that night in their prison cell, you'll get 40% of what you invest back. That is how our government works. They want us in these prisons and they're working us like slaves. Don't believe a word I'm saying. All you have to do is go research it for yourself. You can look it up, you can Google it, and you can find out every word I'm telling you right now is the truth. And if you want to hear more, because we've been studying this for many years, you can check out our program, New Abolitionist Radio. Just Google that, you'll find us. Every Wednesday, this is all we talk about, and we have provided one of the largest sources of evidence for slavery and human trafficking in America right there on that program. We have witness testimony, we have facts, we have figures, everything you need to know to prove one single fact. That those men over there with those badges, when they grab you and put you in that cell, somebody's getting paid for it. Somebody's making money on it. And likely they're going to put your ass in some kind of labor camp where you'll be making Fredericks of Hollywood or Starbucks or any kind of company that's using prison labor's products. Did you know that when you call up on a phone call asking for some service with a company through Verizon or Corizon, that those two companies use prison slave labor for their call centers? Did you know that? Prison slave labor. You're talking to a guy going, listen, my computer's screwed up and I want to fix it. And the guy you're talking to is doing 30 to life. This is what they're doing. I don't want to hold you up too much more. Other people want to talk. I want to thank you and thank the organizers, Ms. Perez and Ms. Stanley for putting this together and giving me the opportunity to address my community. I love you guys. I don't want to see any of our kids go to prison anymore. I don't want to see us being criminalized, and I don't want to see any more of us dead in the streets. This one sign has been to at least 12 different marches over somebody's death. I'm tired of it, and you should be too. Stop concentrating on the symptoms. Start concentrating on the real problem. Legalized slavery in the United States of America. Please Google it and look for more. Peace. I'm Max Parthas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Max.
For those that want more information, I do have copies of how much it costs for each young person to be incarcerated state by state. I'm just going to hand you these. And if you want to pass them out to anybody that wants them, the information is right there. That is considered evidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Max, for that. I appreciate it. And I've known Max and his wife, Tribal Rain, who's our next speaker here for some time now. And they've been such an inspiration to me, and I've learned so much from them. And just to know that we're standing on the ground now. We're standing on the ground now that has legalized a thing to hold us down, to bind us to solitude, you know, to bind us to something that was supposed to be freedom. You know, we're supposed to have freedom in this country, and that's just not the case. And when you come and you learn about things like that, it really just makes this, what we're doing, so much more important, so much more prevalent. So we have to really keep fighting. And this is not the end of it. This is only the beginning. So I thank you once again for coming up here. And we're going to call up our next speaker, and I hope that you enjoy her. She's going to give you some words of wisdom, and hopefully she'll even share a bit of poetry with you all as well. Y'all give it up for Tribal Rain.